So, this is a bit different for me. I don't usually sit down indoors, beer in hand, the fire's on, but it's the end of the year and I thought it's a good opportunity to sit down for a proper chat. This year's changed me more than I expected. Personally, creatively, the way I think about mental health, and the way I think about the channel now. So I wanted to take some time to look back on this year honestly, what it's taught me, what I'm proud of, and what I'm hoping for in the year ahead. If you've had a year that's made you slow down, maybe you've had to rethink things, reset a little bit, then this one's for you. Looking back to the start of 2025, it was quite a fragile but optimistic time for my mental health back then because I'd been diagnosed with depression the year before and I'd settled into some medication that was steadily working. So I got myself into a better place. But I was also returning to work at the start of the year. So there was a lot of anxiety that was starting to come up around traveling, to do with daily routines, sort of mental and physical energy that I had, and just the unknown of being out in society again. I'd spent a long period of time quite isolated from people. So I settled into that, and then it was around March that I filmed my first video for the channel. Now, I don't think I really anticipated where the channel was going to go at that time, and I was just going video to video, and I'm reluctant to even call it a channel for back then because I was responding to a need that I had to open up about what I was going through with my depression and anxiety because it was difficult finding the right outlet in my life from anyone else when I needed it. And so talking to camera felt a little bit like talking to yourself. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I'd spent a long period of time thinking about starting a YouTube channel of some kind, but nothing had really clicked for me. So filming that first video was a way for me to start putting words to my experiences and articulate what I was going through to, I suppose, the world, really. If you're going to talk about your mental health, why not do it on YouTube? Um, Opening up on camera gave me a chance to start thinking about what I wanted to say, why I wanted to say it, and what the meaning behind it was for me beyond the obvious, which is it was quite cathartic for me to open up and bare all, and it allowed me to process my experiences by putting words to them, which really helped me to do that. But the emotional strain was quite tough for me as well because I was back at work. I'm juggling a family and trying to fit various other things into my life as well. So having a channel and doing these deep dives into my own mental health was a very scary. mm, I didn't really have that many expectations at the start of the year either because I was going video to video, and I guess I was hoping that with my mental health I was also just going to go on this upwards trajectory because I'd been off work for a long period, and like when anyone's off sick, then you get better, then you're back in the race again. And I had that really naive view back then that that's how it was going to work for me with my depression and anxiety. Like, found some meds, I'd got routines and disciplines sorted out, I had a grasp of what was working for me in terms of diet, exercise, and what my triggers might be as well. And so I could kind of try and mitigate some of the pinch points to try and keep myself on an even keel. I was moving forward in the year feeling fairly optimistic that I was going to be getting stronger as the year went on. And that was what I was also hearing from people around me as well. You know, lots of positivity, lots of comments, encouraging that I was, you know, back into the society again and being seen and heard and having a smile on my face. But I guess what I was contending with was those continual pressures of having been removed from society for so long, largely of my own doing, but with this massive caveat that my mental health had been really shook and my mental illness hadn't gone away. So this helped form the basis, in a way, for my channel, because I've continued to have this thread throughout the year of exploring my own mental health. So it's been an outlet for me, as you'll have seen if you've watched any of the videos on the channel. For me, before depression, I didn't really talk about mental health very much with people. It wasn't normalized conversation, and it wasn't something I ever really talked to those around me about. I didn't really ask about how other people were doing, not beyond the surface level. And likewise, I wouldn't expect much back. So I've become incredibly sensitive to that, and I've had some very deep, very honest conversations with a lot of different people in my life, many who I wouldn't consider myself to be very close to either, but being open about my own experiences, putting it online, and being transparent has really opened up those conversations. And it's taken, I know for myself, it's taken an incredible amount of courage for me to do that, to put myself out there in that kind of way. It has made me feel very vulnerable, but it's also, I think, given me a lot of strength as well, that it's resonated with people, and those people around me in my life are coming up to me and having these conversations and being sensitive, being mindful, feeling like they can be comfortable about their own experiences, that there's somebody else out there who might know a little bit about what they're going through, or someone that they feel that they can confide in. And I know for me that's been incredibly important. And I think that's been one of the threads for me with the channel, that through this year I've connected with so many people on the videos that I've produced and in the comments. And it's been fascinating to hear about people's individual experiences and just how many people across the world are dealing with mental illness and have had all sorts of struggles through life. But we're all finding a path. We're all finding a way to try to live comfortably with what we've got, with what we can, and listening to our mind and body with what we need every day. And it's really heartening for me to connect with other people in this way, because I have no one in my life, in where I live, with my lifestyle, that I can connect with on a deep level, who can say, yes, I hear you, I see you, and I understand what you're going through, and I'm here if you want to talk. There are people in my life that I can talk to, and I know who might even be watching this video at some point and will say, what about me? Of course, and I have those conversations, but I think the depth of connection that comes from that opening up, and how endearing it can be when someone else across the table can say, I've experienced that too, or I understand exactly what you're going through. It's an incredibly deep connection, and it really has given me a lot of food for thought this year. This year I've had several turning points where I've explored new areas, or I've been faced with challenges that I may not have seen coming, that I've just had to deal with. So I've had to adapt, I've had to be flexible, but I've also had to deal with what's unforeseen as well. I've developed my walking videos where I have a kind of walk and talk style approach where I'm often out in the woods or somewhere outdoors, and I process a lot of my thoughts and experiences as I walk. It helps me just connect the dots and reflect and understand things in a really helpful way. And those videos have kind of become that thread that's ran through this year, where I've been able to continue to explore my journey with my own mental health. I recognized early on that I wouldn't be able to keep producing videos just about my own mental health forever. So, and I didn't want that to be all my channel was about as well. It was important for me to explore the spectrum of mental health. I've always wanted the channel to be a place where conversations are had and people feel safe and comfortable to open up. And so trying to craft the right type of content that is relevant and relatable to people and important as well. So I began exploring different avenues of content, and reaction videos is something that I have been quite tapped into for a number of years. I am a, self-confessed binge watcher of reaction videos myself, like particularly certain songs and certain artists. I, can't get enough of them. And so it wasn't new to me, the idea of reaction videos, but reacting myself was something I'd never done before. And so it was a fascinating ride for me stepping into that domain, because it feels like a completely different niche in a way. But I wanted my reactions to be focused. For me, it's about the storytelling of people's lived experiences through mental illness, mental health, and the challenges and the struggles that people have had to deal with. And that tells its own story, and that is incredibly relatable to me, and hopefully to many people out. Well, I know it's relatable to many people out there as well. And so the reaction content that I've introduced is looking with that lens at people's experiences. And then there's the whole narrative around the videos because of the type of content that it's touching on. So it's been fascinating connecting with people around the world who support these artists and can relate to the content. So that's really helped me connect with many different people and their experiences and their struggles. And that's just been a real lifeline for me in a lot of ways. I do feel proud of what I've done this year. I didn't imagine that after 9 months or so, I'd have a channel this size and I'd be connected to so many people, and that I'd be continuing to produce videos the way I am. And I'm roughly doing 2 a week now, every week, and that's become fairly standard for me. And I've even got a schedule, so I'm working ahead a little bit as well. So that's I'm organised, and that's because I'm enjoying it. I'm getting a lot of pleasure from doing it, and I don't want to give it up, you know. And I'm proud that I've got I think the integrity to not be chasing the easy content. I could quite easily just do something that's popular all the time, and that's not what I'm about, and it's not what interests me. And some of the content I've been producing, I know isn't popular, but I'm not chasing views. It's more important that that one person really connects with what I talk about, what I say, or what I'm reacting to, than having 100 people who might watch a video for 20 seconds. Like that doesn't do it for me. It's about the depth and it's about the connection. So I want to keep producing content that has meaning for people. And yeah, so far so good. I've also been able to make sure that the channel's manageable around my lifestyle, and that's been definitely a challenge at times this year, where I've had to take a break. There's been times when I've missed whole weeks. I'm quite honest on my channel. Most people seem happy if I need to take a break. They're like, yeah, we get it, you know. And I don't think, I guess as a content creator, it sounds weird saying that about myself. As a content creator, you you know you I take this incredibly seriously because it's a creative outlet. I'm a naturally creative person, but I'm putting my life on the line with the kind of content that I'm producing, and that's like bearing your soul, I suppose. It's a difficult process to do that and to craft that final video and put those thoughts and messages and experiences out there in the way that they are. So I'm proud of myself for sticking with it, really, and not giving up. It's been important for me as well that I try and be myself as much as I can. I'm naturally quite an honest, humble, down to earth kind of person. These conversations are hard to have around mental health in this day and age. For a 40-year-old man with wife and kids, opening up about anxiety and talking about self-harm. And it was at that point that the battery decided to die on the microphone. So it wasn't till later on that I realised, and so I've had to refilm this section, so bear with me. There's several things that I'm proud of this year. I've been able to set healthier boundaries. I've been able to get a better understanding of when I'm feeling overly stressed and overwhelmed and when I need to take some time out or slow down. So that's been really helpful for me on a day-to-day basis, but also just in managing demands, upcoming pressures, scheduling, and even with the channel. That's been really helpful because it's allowed me to start thinking about what I need to give, and I've not wanted the channel to become overwhelming for me. So setting a structure, being able to have a manageable posting schedule has helped me forward plan, and it's helped me to not get too swept up with everything. I've been able to get more consistent with my content without burning out as well. So that planning has really helped to focus on themes. So I've been able to explore some of Ren's material. I've been delving into his chapters. I've been looking at different aspects of my own mental health journey as well. It's also allowed me to start being responsive to my audience. And that leads on to you guys watching and the community that's really starting to develop in the comments across many of my videos, and the different life experiences and challenges that so many of you have been going through. It's been fantastic for me to be able to connect with you on a deeper level, and I'm really pleased that my content and my approach and hopefully my authenticity in what I'm putting across to you in the videos is really resonating with you all. And that's something that just really does mean so much to me. And I'm really proud that I've made it through the year, and we're in December, and I've had 9 months of content on the channel, and I've really begun to develop it into a mental health themed channel that isn't just about my story, but it's about the life experience of mental health, mental illness, and the challenges that we all face with our health through life. And I hope the channel continues to grow over the next year. That's the plan. And there's a few things that this year's taught me as well. That, for example, slowing down isn't a failure. I've had to take time out, like when I went to the Lake District, and I've had breaks in my scheduling and all that business. And you can feel guilty for doing that. You can beat yourself up. But as you all say to me, you know, put your health first. You've got to put yourself first, and the channel will be there when I'm ready to pick it up again. And being able to forward plan a bit as I have has kind of helped give me a bit of downtime where I've needed it. You know, if I have to slow down and maybe put out a short video instead of filming long form, it's not the end of the world, you know. It's important to me that I can be transparent with you all and that I can be myself. You know, I'm not playing a character in what I do. I'm not putting on a mask or a voice or a persona for you. How I talk, how I act, the experiences I have, it's all me. And that's part of what makes what I do so real, I think, with the channel, because it's genuine, it's life experience, and just staying real, staying true, and being honest with yourself and those around you is so important. This is about real life, and I'm pleased to be able to give a slice of that to everybody, and that it's connecting with everyone as well. Something else that this year has taught me is that it's okay to take risks. Quite often risks do help you grow. They give you different perspectives, they give you different experiences, and it allows you to see a bigger picture of things, or try something new or different. And so for me, I've allowed my content on the channel to go in different directions. For a long period of time, it was just my mental health journey, and then I started to look at mental health in the UK and get a better understanding of current affairs in mental health. And then I've been trying reaction videos as well, which is something I never thought I'd get into. But it's been a fascinating ride so far, being able to explore deep issues experienced by other artists that connect with many of us in the same way. And it allows me to be educated on other people's experiences and learn and share with you all. And I know that's been really connecting, particularly with Ren's content this year. And it's been a fascinating journey for me so far, really getting to know Ren's life story and his battle that he's had on his hands with Lyme disease, and build a better life and a healthier life for himself. I think perhaps the most important thing this year, and is maybe understated and something that quite easy to ignore, is actually how vulnerability is a bit of a superpower, because I've kind of normalised it for myself, that talking about my mental health, my struggles and challenges, it's become a regular feature for me, and I've got more comfortable on camera, and I'm used to being open and having conversations with real people as well as on camera, and that's a good thing that I've normalised that. But actually being vulnerable and being open can lead you open to criticism and other people's opinions, and I'm putting this stuff on the internet so other people can access it as well. And I know many people don't feel comfortable talking at all with people, let alone putting it online. So I think I've just got used to that over time, and it's easy to forget just how important it is that that hurdle has been crossed, and that I can own my vulnerability in my experience. And the bit I'm still trying to work on with it is it's easy, very easy sometimes to compare your experiences with other people's, particularly when you feel that maybe they've had a harder time than you have, and it can make me feel like, oh, am I just complaining about stuff, or am I attention seeking? And I know I'm not. What I go through is real to me, and if it helps me to talk about it and share that experience with everyone, then I'm going to do that. So here we are, 75 videos later, or whatever it is now. So yeah, it's important that vulnerability doesn't get overlooked in the kind of DNA of what I'm doing, because if you're not open to being vulnerable, the conversation doesn't happen. That's kind of where it starts, by crossing that line of being open to scrutiny and being challenged and inviting opinion from other people. So if I can encourage other people to talk a little bit more about their mental health, then that is a huge success in my eyes, because there are still many more conversations to be had, and it's by no means normalised for people to feel comfortable just talking about mental health and mental illness. And I want to do what I can to move that conversation forward. Looking ahead to next year, I want to continue doing my walking videos. I find it incredibly therapeutic and beneficial for me to walk and talk. It allows me to process my thoughts in real time, and it gets me exercise, and I like that experience of connecting with nature and being able to clear my head in this kind of way. So I'm going to continue with that as a theme for my personal videos, at least anyway. I am really enjoying the reactions still, although I'm keen to explore some different artists and different perspectives and different life experiences when it comes to mental illness in particular. So I am going to be delving into NF, who's an artist that I've touched on a little bit already. There's a few others I want to look at as well when it comes to spoken word, poetry, and I won't name any names just yet, but to be continued. I'm hoping to start having some deeper mental health conversations as well. So I am going to be looking at doing some lives. They might be a Q&A, they may be a mental health deep dive, we shall see. And I'm interested in exploring interviews. Not really a format I've necessarily done before. It may not be interviews, it may be more of a kind of conversation with one or two others, but I'm interested in that type of format in discussing different topics and experiences and seeing where that leads. So that's something that I might delve into over this next year. So there's lots of options of new avenues for me to explore, which I'm feeling quite encouraged by after this year. I am mindful that I do need to keep protecting my own well-being as well. My cat is back. Come on. Have some over here. There. There you go. It's hungry. So I am mindful to protect my own well-being as well, and not let the demands and pressures of life run away with me too much. So I am going to be keeping up a discipline where I can with the channel, so that things don't get too full on, and that the content I do is manageable, and that I'm able to step back a bit if I need to, and recognise the signs, I think importantly, like ahead of time, so that I'm able to still keep getting the enjoyment from what I'm doing, but it's not becoming overwhelming in any way. So that brings me to the end of the video and to the end of 2025. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for joining me this year. Whether you're a new viewer or whether you're someone who's been around for a little while and has been experiencing my content for a time, and you're still here and you're still enjoying it. So thank you very much, and I honestly hope that you all have a great break over the festive season, and that you look forward to a happy and healthy new year as well. If you feel like it, I'd love to hear in the comments what this year has taught you as well. Alright, until next time, take care.